This is an edit demo for your Multiplicity project. So I have all my pictures in a folder. So here are all my pictures. Now I need to file scripts, load them into Sacks and Photoshop. So here's Photoshop, file, scripts, load files into Stack. And then I'm on file, so I'm gonna hit browse and I'm gonna select the pictures I want and hit open. And then I either, let's see, does Command A work? No, I need to shift click, so click on the first one, hold shift, click on the last one. I have to select them all. Then I hit OK. And it's going to open them in a new document on top of each other. So this is important that they are all together. Now I'm gonna make sure they're in the right order. I wanna make sure the background is on the bottom. So I have more than one background picture. So this is the eyeball, so when I turn it off, I know that's a background picture, and I'm gonna pull it all the way down to the bottom. And I'm gonna hit the eyeball, so I want that picture. I'm gonna leave it off so I can see the bottom one. I want that one. So this is the picture of me on the cell phone. I want that one. I didn't like this picture of myself, and I'm not gonna use it because I have more, so I'm just going to hit the trash can or delete to get rid of it. I want that one. I also did not like this one, so I can either hit delete on my laptop or delete to get rid of it. I also don't like this one, so I'm not gonna use that one. I like this one instead, and it's not overlapping. So there's a background picture, there is a background picture, and there's another one. So I have two background pictures. So I have this one, or, no, just kidding. Yeah, I have two, this one or that one. I think this one's more in focus, so I'm going to delete that one. And then this is a person, so it needs to go up. So this is my background layer, and I am going to lock it. So I'm gonna right click. No, there's the lock. I'm gonna lock it so I don't accidentally edit it. So I'm gonna click on this layer, I'm gonna hit the eyeball, turn it on, and there's a picture of me. So I can just hit remove background, but you'll find it like messed up a piece of my leg. So I have two options. I can use the select object selection tool and click on myself and make sure you're on the layer for that image if you're not. So it selected all of me. Then I can hit this layer mask icon here, or the same thing as right here, and this is going to remove the background. Okay? And then you see how I don't have a shadow? I need to be on the layer mask, and I need to find my brush tool. White will bring me back, black will make the background come back. So I'm gonna pick white, make sure I'm on the layer mask, and paint the shadow behind me in, and it is matching up pretty perfectly because I photographed it nice. So I am just bringing the shadow back so I look more realistic. And then if I remove too much, I can hit this little arrow and like remove my foot, see? So white makes the picture disappear, and black makes the picture disappear, and white brings it back. So I'm painting in the shadow so I look more realistic. And then I'm gonna click on the next layer, hit the eyeball. So again, I can just hit remove background, and it's gonna add a layer mask to remove the background. And then if I wanna edit it, I click on this layer mask and I paint white to bring it back. But you see how I'm like deleting my foot back there? I'm deleting this other picture because I'm making this picture go on top, and it's in front, so we're gonna go with that. And then I'm gonna click on this one, hit the eyeball, and I think you will find this easier. So I'm gonna hit remove background, and you'll find that it misses pieces. So I make sure I'm on my brush tool and white, And if I'm not on my layer mask, you see how it's painting black on me? This is bad. I can't undo this without deleting the layer. So I'm gonna click on my history and go back, make sure I'm on the layer mask, and I paint and it brings the picture back. That's what I want. And so I am just painting around, make sure I get all the little pieces I might be missing of myself. Easier than doing a precise selection. And then I'm gonna turn this layer on. So there's a bunch of me on top of each other, but we'll address that later. So I'm gonna hit remove background. I missed a big piece of my head, so I am going to paint myself back in. And if I photograph these nicely and didn't move my tripod, I should be fine. So I will come into a problem here. But again, we'll talk about it in a minute. So then I'm gonna click on this one. I'm gonna hit remove background. And I'm going to make sure I'm on the layer mask and I'm on my brush tool and I paint myself back in. And since I did a good job photographing, oh, you see how this doesn't line up perfectly? So if it doesn't line up perfectly, I'm going to click on the picture. I'm going to click on the move tool and I'm just going to move it just a hair so that it does line up perfectly. And now if I turn it on and off, you don't see any inconsistencies. And I'm gonna click back on the layer mask and click on my brush tool and make sure I have all the pieces of me back in the picture. Last one, make sure I'm selected on the picture, on the layer. I'm gonna hit remove background. And I'm missing an arm, so I'm going to paint it back in. And you'll see this one doesn't line up perfectly either. And I'm making sure I paint back in the shadows so I look realistic. Because if I don't have the shadows, it makes me look fake. Okay, and then you can see it doesn't perfectly line up, so I'm gonna make sure I click on the picture. I'm gonna use the move tool. And I can also use my arrows if I need to on my keyboard to make it perfectly line up. So I'm gonna hit Command 0, go to full screen. So I only need 5 of me. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this combination is not working out. So I'm gonna turn the eyeball off and try and figure out where this middle picture is. So it's this one. So I'm just gonna hit the eyeball and leave it off because I don't want it. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This overlap looks weird because this picture should be on top of that picture. So I'm gonna find the one of me sticking my tongue out. There's this one. And I want the one of me putting I want it above the one of me with my cell phone. So I'm just gonna drag it up. And then since I painted it all back, you'll see that this picture is overlapping that picture, so I can't see it. So I need to, again, go to this picture. I'm gonna hit select subject, and you see how it doesn't do a great job. I'm then going to inverse my selection. My goal is that I only paint this part of me back. So I'm gonna click on my layer mask, I'm gonna switch to black, and make sure I'm on my brush tool, and then I'm going to paint my body back in this background. I'm erasing this top picture so I can see that picture. Okay, then I'm gonna deselect. And I'm looking for inconsistencies, so I'm gonna click on this one. And let's see what happens if I paint this. Nope. So I want this picture to show, and it's blocking this back picture. And then I am almost done. So then I'm going to turn on and off each of the layers and look for little weird spots that give away my Photoshop usage. So I'm making sure I only have part of the shadow right here. So it's this layer, so I'm gonna click on this layer mask, and I want it to be white, which it is, and I'm going to finish painting back in this shadow. I'm gonna go to this one, and it looks pretty good. There is a little piece up here on the phone that looks weird. So again, I'm just gonna paint it in. Oh, I see, it doesn't perfectly line up. So I'm gonna click on the picture. I'm gonna go to the move tool. And I'm gonna use the arrows on my keyboard. And then I'm gonna make sure it didn't make anything weird at my feet. No, we're still okay. Command 0. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on this picture. Make sure I'm on my brush tool. And make sure that I have the shadows back and there's nothing weird. Okay, it looks very good. So I'm going to File, Save. I'm going to name it Multiplicity. And then you can hit Don't Show again and OK, so it stops popping up. Then I need to File, Save as a copy, make it a JPEG, and hit Save. And you can make it a large file or like a high file so that I can see it in Google Classroom. And then last but not least, I need to screenshot, Command-Shift-4. I need to make sure my layers are in there, screenshot. And that is it for Multiplicity. So then make sure you turn in your screenshot, JPEG, and your Photoshop file if it will load. Happy editing.